Welcome to the Soulful Mystics podcast. I'm Steph.
And I'm Julie, and we are intuitive hypnotists, sharing our journey along the way.
Hello.
Hi! I'm sipping on my coffee, so we're good.
Okay, sip away. So today we're going to talk about, I guess, all the new stuff coming up, like all the updates. It's been a wild ride. I don't know if it's been a month or 5 years, but it continues to go up and down. But I thought I would mention a little bit about all the signs and synchronicities about this house too.
Yeah, for sure.
So do you have anything new you want to chat about before?
Anything new?
Or
I feel
anything?
like what is new? I don't know that I have anything new because I feel like I'm recovering from all the crazy that has happened this year, I guess. You know, there's been a lot going on, but most recently we did the past life for Gina. That's going to be airing on her podcast. I'm not actually sure the date, but we will let you all know when that occurs. And then I facilitated the kinship hypnosis. And you guys, I was so sick. I was so sick. I swear it lasted 3 weeks. It took me out. I was so sick. It was miserable. And I almost couldn't do both of those hypnosis. And both times I was like, oh my gosh, my throat is so scratchy. What if I start and then I don't get to make it all the way through? Even for the kinship hypnosis, I came so close to telling Gina, like, I just don't think I'm going to be able to do it. Even leading up the hour before, I'm like texting her, like, I don't know. My throat is so scratchy. And then I sat with myself for an hour and I sent Reiki to my throat. And then I got through it. And my voice didn't feel so scratchy and sore. If anything, I think the congestion made my voice deeper, which I kind of have like a higher voice. I don't know. I've been told. So maybe not this morning because I just woke up. But yeah, I think
Yeah, it was magical.
everyone had such a great experience. So
Yeah.
I was so relieved and it filled me with so much joy listening to everyone's experience. I felt really blessed for that and for the opportunity to even facilitate that session.
Yeah. No, it was really beautiful. And it was magical. Like I think everybody experienced something otherworldly of some kind. So yeah,
Yeah.
it was really, and you couldn't even tell you were sick, honestly. Your voice just sounded slightly different and nobody would have even noticed. I noticed because you asked me to listen
I
to
sent you
verify.
a voice text. That was when it was feeling really rough and scratchy.
Mhm.
And I even listened back to it and I was like, oh no, this isn't going to be good. I literally sat with my hands on my throat for like an hour and just sent Reiki. And I don't know, man, it helped. I definitely noticed a difference. It wasn't so sore and scratchy after doing that. So that was definitely a relief.
Yeah, it was actually
Yay.
really good. So,
Thank
I
you.
mean, I think a lot of people who joined with the community hypnosis, anyone can join for free. You just have to sign on to Gina from Past Lives and the Divine, her email list, and you can get all the info there.
And
But
we have it linked in our show notes.
yeah, it's so cool that people get to experience that without having to pay just to get
Oh
a
my
taste of
gosh.
hypnosis.
Yes. And I know, oh my gosh, like years ago, I had done some of Gina's workshops and I did some of her sessions that she'd play on her podcast. And if you're someone that is worried about paying for a session, this is the perfect introduction into it. If you've never done hypnosis before, if you're super curious, no matter what, you're going to get something out of it. No matter if you go super deep and otherworldly or not, you're going to get what you need out of it. But this is just a perfect way to test the waters and see where you can even go.
Yeah,
So,
I
yeah,
agree. And you do it with a group of other people,
it
and you could
makes
feel
it
the
that much
energy.
more magical.
Yeah.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah, so we are, as you can probably tell, a little bit lower energy. I don't
It
know if it's
is
been rough for
7 in the
everyone.
morning,
Yeah,
CST.
it's 8 here. I've been up since 3. I don't know why, but like I cannot sleep. I think for the last like at least 3 weeks, I've got like 2 to 4 hours of sleep, and it's always right at like 7 p.m., let's say. That's when I get my best sleep. And then the rest of the night is just up and down.
Okay,
So,
Jason. You and my husband are so similar. They're both cancers,
so
but
it's like
Jason goes through the same thing.
it's
Yeah.
so tough because I want to be a part of other things that other people are. Like going for supper at that hour is just, that sounds ridiculous to me. I eat at like 3 p.m. or 4 p.m.
So
maximum.
do we. We have been living this life for many years now. And let me tell you, I have no regrets because if you do go out for dinner at 4 p.m., guess what? You're the only couple in the restaurant and you're in and out and you don't have to worry about the crowd. So it's
Yep.
really not that bad.
Yeah, no, it's honestly, it's lovely. But then I missed
Mhm.
kinship and I really wanted to be there. And I was trying to take like a little nap before I set an alarm, but I never wake up to an alarm, like never.
Mm.
So then I was worried that I wouldn't wake up to the alarm and then I just couldn't sleep. And then I fell asleep right at the time of kinship. So that was
Yeah,
a
I do
bummer,
that
but
too.
I think it's been like, what are we, March? Yeah, 2 months of just chaos, I think, for maybe not chaos, just really up and down energy. There hasn't felt like any stability for me anyway, and I think for
No.
you too.
I've been feeling it since November. I mean,
Yeah.
I remember this energy started for me since November, and it started with our shower breaking. We had no water. It was the week of Thanksgiving. Everyone is on holiday. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that week is when I noticed it was like shit hit the fan and things were just, everything was crazy. I had
Yeah.
an emotional breakdown on January 1st. So that's how I kicked off the new year in tears. Everything is all good, releasing some energy. I don't know, but Steph, you specifically have had a lot going on. So do you want to talk
Yeah.
about some of your recent?
Yes. So I think there's just been so much in a short period of time
Mhm,
that I feel like I'm just coasting, like I'm in survival mode.
for
And
sure.
I'm not myself. I know where everything is at all times in my house. I can't find my earphones. Also, I'm packing. But even when I pack, I know exactly what I put in each box. I very clearly write it, but can't find them. A few other things as well that I know I didn't pack. And my house is very empty. Like there's no clutter, there's nothing. So
Mhm. So
I don't
why
know.
is your house empty? I don't think you've really explained this a lot on the
Yeah.
podcast of what's going on.
Well, okay. So on February 6th, when you look for the signs and synchronicities, sometimes you're not looking, but they're like in your face. Well, I had a friend, I was at work and a coworker told me her partner's a pilot. And she told me about one of his coworkers, a pilot, was flying at night and saw this triangle of lights, like a UFO. So that was fun. So I told Julie about that because she loves UFO stuff. And then immediately after, one of my other friends sent me a text. So she spilt juice. It was like a purple juice, and it got on her arm. So it like kind of stained her arm. And she saw these patterns. So she took a photo and was sending it to everyone she knows who's spiritual and asked what they can see. I saw a dragonfly, and she's like, "Oh my God, you're the only one who saw a dragonfly." I was like, "Oh, what did you see?" So everyone saw a triangle, which I didn't see. Then when I looked at it, it's very clearly there. And it's right underneath the dragonfly that I saw. Yeah, it was very meaningful because I have a dragonfly tattoo. It was my first tattoo that I got to represent freedom.
I
And I
love
didn't
it.
know at the time why that was a sign. But like, okay, two triangles in less than an hour. And then Max texted me a house and asked if I wanted to go see it. And that house is a triangle. So it's an A-frame home, but it's literally a triangle. I was like, okay, so maybe all these triangles and the dragonfly that I saw was representing this could be the one. We've been looking for
Mhm.
our dream home, our forever home for 8 years, and like we're really picky because we want it to have everything that we need and want. So we're taking our time. Went to go see the house. And when we Googled it, or when I Googled it, I saw right next to where the house was that there was a place called High Falls. And I thought it seems like a place I want to go explore. Like I
Yeah.
don't know why, like go hiking. Oh, Cooper brought me a
Oh,
heart.
oh, Cooper. Oh, you handsome little man.
Um, so
Sorry.
yeah, so High Falls, just like it stuck out to me and I wanted to go hike and explore it. And then my cousin Mindy looked up the house after I told her we went to go see it and everything. And then she looked it up and she wrote to me that she just Googled the address to see where it was. And she's like, it's close to High Falls, which is where our ancestors lived when they came to Canada. So that's where they came to. I didn't know that.
I just got chills. You never told me that.
No, like I said, I've just been coasting.
I get it.
I've been
Yeah.
writing stuff down because I know that
Oh,
whenever everything settles, I want to reread it and like
oh
really
my
take it in.
God. Oh, and look back on everything
Yeah,
that is unfolded. Oh,
exactly.
magical.
And then she said, it's like you're part of that land. And I felt called to it. And I felt called to this house, and all of the signs were there. And then when we went to go visit, there was these three little artworks that come together with, it's very woodsy. It's like wood with like an animal painted in black on it. So I think there's an eagle, a bear, and a moose. And those paintings I don't have hung up here because it doesn't really fit the house. We bought it as a representation of our forever home because we really liked it. And that was kind of the style we were going for. They had that in the house, the exact same.
Wow.
And so I was like, okay, another sign.
Yeah.
It's number 14, which the house number, which is my birthday and the birthday of my two nieces. And so I was like,
Oh.
okay, another sign. And then on our way leaving there, we saw a name of the street that we passed really close by is the same name as our street here.
Oh my goodness.
So I was like, it has to be, right? I mean,
Yeah.
even you, like when we got the news that they unfortunately accepted another offer over ours, and this house has been on the market since summer. Nobody's put an offer. Barely anyone went to go visit because it's a fixer-upper, which is what we wanted. And it's pretty far out from the city. So not much interest in it. We went to go see it. We put an offer, and then we found out that someone else put an offer soon after we did. And they put like a higher amount as well as no conditions. And we had the condition to sell our house first. So, of course, they chose that offer. So we were really upset, like sad about it. We can really envision ourselves living there. So, carried on with our life, tried to forget about it, decided to like take a break from looking for a place.
Right.
Yeah. And then Max was supposed to go, well, he was going to his friend's mother's place because she had cancer and it all kind of happened really fast that she probably wasn't going to live for much longer. And he grew up with this friend. She was like a second mom to him, and it's about 2 hours away. So on a Saturday, he went down there with his friends. He was supposed to sleep there, and she wasn't feeling well, so they came back early. He got home around 11. Right at that time, Roxy started acting different, and I immediately knew that something was wrong. We took her to the emergency right away, and keeping in mind that like he wasn't supposed to be there that night.
Yeah.
So he got home and it happened immediately. So I would have been sleeping, but because he got home, I was awake and then I noticed. And long story short, she told me on Wednesday following that she was ready. And so we had a vet come to her house and they did the most beautiful ceremony for her. And she was able to
Oh.
pass in my arms and just like no pain, no fear. She was just like really comfortable.
Wow.
So that was on Wednesday. And then on Friday, we got a call from the realtor telling us that the first offer on the house it fell through, and we were the only other offer. So asked if we wanted to reinforce that offer. And of course, we were like, yes, really like depressed with grief and like not
Yeah.
understanding
Oh
what
my
was
God.
happening.
Yeah.
And then we found out a couple days later, Max doesn't have Facebook. So a couple days later, I think it was like the Sunday, his friend called him to tell him that his mom had passed an hour before we got a call from the realtor.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Chills again.
Yeah. And her and Max were really close. And before she passed, she said that she saw dogs. Like there was just
Uh,
dogs around her and she didn't have
oh,
pets. So Max, the non-spiritual one, is like, I think Roxy went to go visit her. And I was like, yeah,
oh,
like I believe so too.
I'm covered in chills. I'm like I've heard you've told me this already,
Yeah.
so I already knew this, but even hearing it again, it's so powerful. It's just
Yeah.
anyway, I'm so sorry. Continue.
It was really powerful. And it's something that like is happening for a reason.
Yeah.
So just letting it flow in our grief, in our excitement, it's like, how do you feel? Like it's so hard to determine, but in 8 years, it has not been easy to get a house here. Now, since that day, everything's been happening really quick. We did a quick sale on our current home and we sold it. We had an offer the first day, and by the second day, we accepted an offer out of, I think there was 7 offers.
Wow.
Yeah, so we sold it immediately.
7.
Yeah. It just all happened really quickly. And the guy who
Mhm.
offered, the number he offered equaled 5.
Wow.
And the house,
Change
yeah, and the house that we bought was 14, which equals 5.
equals 5.
So I was like, it feels like it's going to happen. And everything
Mhm.
has just been so smooth, except really busy. But now it's all official. Everything is done. So it's like it's done. We can finally take a breath.
Yeah.
And amidst all that, Cooper had to go get an ultrasound to find out what was going on with him. That was exactly a week to the day after Roxy passed. I was really not in a good place because I was worried. We had been told to prepare for him to be leaving us because he's a 9-year-old Great Dane.
Yeah.
And we were trying to prepare for that, and that we were not prepared for Roxy. But turns out he has something like Crohn's for dogs, and he has been living the life. He's already gained a lot of weight. You can already see his hip
Oh.
bones are like disappearing because he's got some
Oh,
fluff around it finally.
good.
It makes me so happy to see him excited to eat. It's like a roller coaster.
Oh my
It's been
gosh.
such a roller coaster.
Yes.
Like, don't know how to feel, but I know that we're really excited to get into our new place. And then I think, I don't even know what day we are, but I think it was last week, right, that we found out, like, or no, the earlier this week that
It was this
I'm
week. Yeah.
having passport issues and it won't be ready for the time that I had planned to come visit you.
Right.
So I was going to meet you for the first time in person on April
I
18th.
know.
And so we're really sad about that. I
Yes.
think I was like really devastated because the plan was I go visit you, we get to meet for the first time, and then when I come
Hmm.
home, we were going to move because our move-in day was May 1st.
Right.
And yeah, so that had kind of taken its toll, I think, this week.
Yeah. But I have to say before you continue, I have to say with all this like crazy up and down, I don't know time anymore. I don't know what day it is from day to day. Like
Yeah, same.
it's been crazy. But you texted me. I was working. I think we were both working and told me, and I was in a meeting and I read the text and I was like, of course it's a bummer. Like this sucks. Of
Yeah.
course it does. But there was a part of me that kind of like held back from feeling so devastated. And I couldn't explain this at the time. And maybe it was I was distracted because I was working and in a meeting and then reading your text when I probably shouldn't have been. But I always read your text when you text me. So I don't know. I just had this feeling like, okay, we're not canceling anything. It wasn't meant to happen right now. And I felt so strongly that there was a greater reason. And I was thinking about this and I was like, well, it makes sense because first of all, you have gone through so much. I mean, so much in such a short period of time. And then to be going on a vacation. I mean, first, you already know your house is sold, right? So
Yeah.
you're already in the midst of packing. Then you're going to stop packing, go to another country, come back and then move like that. It's overwhelming for me to even just consider that for myself. I'd probably be like, oh, let's push this trip back. But instead, I feel like the universe did it for you
Hmm.
because otherwise you would have been met with this decision of, okay, either we're going to be super stressed and overwhelmed, and there's just going to be so much weighing on you with the move, with the trip, or you would have had to make the difficult decision to say, you know what, this is just too much at this time. And it would have been I know it would have been really hard for you to tell me, like, hey, I just can't make it at this point. And instead, the universe is like, well, Steph, we're going to make it. So there's no way that you can go.
Basically, yeah. But then we found out that because the people in the new house haven't been there because they were using it as a cottage since summer, they moved the date of possession up 2 weeks. And so our official date of possession is April 18th, which was the day that I was supposed to arrive to meet you.
Chills
I
again. It all happened for a reason.
It did. We're probably being forced into that rest sooner than I thought. So, all in all, we decided to take a break from the podcast for the month of April because I was going to be traveling. But
But now you're
now,
moving.
yeah, we're continuing the break in
Yeah.
April for me to move and settle into the new place. So the next steps would be to find internet that goes there because it is pretty deep in the woods. There is definitely a service that goes there, so we'll be fine.
Mhm.
But it just kind of gives us that extra time without worrying about letting any of the mystics down.
Yeah, and I think anyone in this community would understand. I know for me, one of the biggest things that I've learned is that rest is productive. right?
Hmm.
And even if you're still busy doing things, you're taking something off your plate.
Yeah.
For now, we'll be back. Of course, we still have more things planned in the future, but I think just because this year and last several months have been so up and down for the both of us. And I know it's not just us. I know we've spoken to other people, other friends, and people in kinship, and there's been a lot of ups and downs, a lot of energies moving through us. Even the energy updates, we're not the only ones feeling this. But I've also heard, and I don't know if there's any truth to this, but I also heard that April is supposed to be some kind of turning point. And I don't know if that is with the eclipse, because a lot of times eclipses bring that heavy.
Hmm.
Last year's eclipse was a doozy. So I've got my guard up a little bit,
Yeah.
but I heard April is supposed to be a turning point. So I'm hanging on to a little bit of hope that when we come back and Steph is settled in our new place, that some of this heaviness will have fallen off and settled. And that's what I'm hoping for.
Me too. So if you want to find out more, hop on our email list because we'll
Yeah.
probably be sending out updates as we go. Oh, and also I will be facilitating the April 4th community kinship for Gina, the Past Lives and the Divine.
Yes.
So you could be there for that as well. Okay, well, thanks for
Yeah.
chatting.
Yeah, of
Have a good
course.
day. I'm gonna
You
chat with you
too.
soon, so you
Yes,
know.
you'll text me in 5 minutes.
Yeah, probably. That's usually what happens.
Yeah.
And that's it for today's episode. Until next time, stay curious.
Stay mystical.